Introducing the Chevrolet Blazer EV LT. I'm going to tell you why this is a well-rounded, sporty EV that you should consider next. My name is Merch Batista, and this is Charging the Road. So yes, this is the Chevrolet Blazer EV in an LT trim. I'm actually renting this while I'm out here in San Diego. I wanted to give you guys my impressions, my review of this sporty looking, nicely sized EV. So yes, I am back here in San Diego, California, and I decided to get the Blazer EV simply because I just needed a car, and the Blazer EV just kind of came into light. So I figured, why don't I check out Blazer EV? It caught the most interest because it's a very sporty EV and I've heard a lot of great things about it. So that's why in this video, I'm going to tell you what I think of it, my impressions, and overall as a monthly Mach-E owner, what do I like about it, what do I dislike about it, and then just give my overall take. But before we dive into it, I want to give you guys my first quick impressions and why I chose the Blazer EV. First of all, what I think of this is a pretty gorgeous, sporty looking EV. Not to mention it's kind of wide, so that's why I kind of chose it. I heard a lot of good things, and again, it kind of rivals with the Mustang Mach-E. So I really wanted to see what the EVs, the Blazer EV is all about. And also, when I saw the color, when I went to go rent this, I really wanted to see for it in person, and it looks really good. Looks really impressive. But yeah, without further ado, let's do a little walk around. So it's worth noting again that this is the LT trim. There's also the RS and the SS. And the reason why I say that is because in the front is actually different. So in the LT, you have the color body grille, and the RS and the SS is actually black. Not to mention too, you're not gonna get a light show from the LT. In the RS and the SS, there is like illuminating bar, and especially around the logo that does kind of illuminate when you unlock and lock the door. But this is all you get. It's just your standard, turning lights that flashes just to indicate you're locking and unlocking the door. And in the LT, you're gonna get a 19-inch aluminum wheels with these nice aero covers, which is actually gonna help with the aerodynamics and your efficiency of your range. And it's sporting a 255/60 R19 tires, which is actually quite good. It's suitable for the sheer size of the Blazer EV. And the next here is actually the charge port door. So you just got to press it here to open the door here. And then the max charging speed for your CCS is about 150 kilowatts. But the way is explained is that this has a really low voltage. So to maximize your charging speed, you have to plug into a 350 kilowatt station as opposed to 150 kilowatts, because at 150 kilowatts, you're probably going to get a max of like 96 and then maybe eventually to 100 kilowatts, which I find it kind of strange. But really at the end of the day, charging from 10% to 80% is going to take you about 45, 55 minutes, depending on the different conditions, like if it's cold outside or if your battery's cold and whatnot. Oh, it's also worth noting too, if you guys are a fan of frunks, well, guess what? You're actually out of luck. There is literally no frunk. And in my opinion, there could have been a frunk. It doesn't have to be that much space, but there really isn't. Underneath, it's just your electrical components, and then maybe your washer fluid. I believe that's your washer fluid. I think this is coolant. And then your battery is supposed to be over there, but that's really about it. So you're out of luck with no frunk here, and I'm honestly disappointed by it. And it's also worth noting that the platform on this is actually the Ultium platform that is shared with the Cadillac Lyriq and is second cousin the Honda Prologue, except that the Honda Prologue actually has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is something we're going to get into, and why that, for me personally, that's a deal breaker. Now, coming around to the back of the Blazer EV, one thing to note is that the design overall looks pretty good, looks pretty beefy, but it also looks very similar to the rest of the Chevrolet lineup. But to indicate that this is a full EV, it's the 3 blue bars on the letter E, hence Blazer EV. Now, as far as with the trunk space, you have 25.5 cubic feet of space, 2 large suitcases, and apparently 2 YouTubers? Yeah. Hey, I think I better check the truck next time before I rent my next car. All right, so moving on. So one of the things I do like to check whenever I rent a car is have a look at the door panel, because what I'm trying to look for is the hard plastic, and I found it right here. Because when you're designing the vehicle, you want to have a good looking door. But I do like to check out the materials. That's just me. But anyways, the materials here, you have like a little bit of nice little soft touch heels, kind of like soft hard touch. It's not too soft, but it's soft to the touch a little bit. And then this panel right here, it's sort of like a gloss panel. And then also here too, it's a little bit of leather vegan here, and this is a little bit of rubber here. I believe this is where the speakers go, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm sorry, the speakers goes right here. But to look at the back seat too, the back doors actually, is honestly the same thing, except for up here. Up here's all hard plastic. And again, this is just a way for Chevrolet to just kind of cut back on some stuff. But honestly, the overall look of the door panels, I like it. And the way they close, normal, standard. I like it. It's soft, hard, cushy, lovely, but I love it. So one important thing that most people would like to know is how's the leg room, how's the space overall in the second row? And to be honest, it is really impressive. Again, I have this much room. By the way, I'm 5'10", just so you guys know. I have this much leg room in front of the passenger seat. I have this much headroom. Now keep this in mind too. I wanted to mention this really quick. In the LT version, and it is optional, I believe you can get this option, but you can get the glass roof, but the glass roof does kind of lower a little bit, but without the glass roof, you have this much space. So it's actually quite comfortable, but I will mention one thing though. If you look at here, this is for to clip on to your baby seats, but after a while, it pinches you down here. So for the short term, this does initially feel comfortable. Like it feels comfortable by the shoulders and the middle back, but in the lower back here, after a while, it does pinch on you and it does become a little uncomfortable. But focusing on the center here, you do have these two air vents, and you do have two USB-C ports. I truly appreciate USB-C ports these days because you can get quite fast charging. I believe you can get as much as 45 watts into these ports, so those should be very, very helpful. But how does it feel when I'm sitting on this side behind the driver's seat as I'm already positioned? Well, let me show you. Just again to mention, the seat has already been adjusted to where I'm originally positioned, and I have this much leg room. Honestly, if I were to scooch my feet underneath here, I feel really, really comfortable. And again, I'm pretty the vehicle itself is pretty wide, and so if I were to like kind of slouch like this, the person next to me can slouch the exact same way and we'd be very, very comfortable. Again, just kind of going back to this here, it just pinches. And I've noticed that in most of the General Motor vehicles, mentioning in my Vistic video, and yeah, it can get a little uncomfortable, just so you guys be aware of this. Now we're in the interior in the driver's side of the Blazer EV, and the first thing that came in mind is that this thing is alive, meaning that there's a lot going on here, but it does make sense. Like for example, the 17.7 inch massive screen, the entertainment screen. The first time I saw this, it looked very sharp. It looks very high res. I totally love it. I absolutely love it. And then we have the instrument cluster. It does seem like there's a lot going on here, but you could actually change this. So if you were to press it on the steering wheel, you'll get different configuration. You can see through the map and see different configurations as you're liking. I personally like to have it here because it shows you all the information, including the battery information, your watt usage, and of course your speedometer, which is super nice. Now, kind of looking at the steering wheel right now, there's nothing too special about it. It's Chevrolet's design. Looks very standard. You have your cruise control here. You have your audio control here. Funny enough, though, your volume controls are actually going to be back here. So there's the up button, there's the down button for your volume controls, and on the other side, you might not be able to see it, but basically it's your controlling your music tracks and so forth. Nothing to explain. Is super simple. Here is the oh, it's also just worth mentioning. I'm going to edit all this. Just worth mentioning that this is your gear selector stock. I find it very easy to use it. Although I will say this though, because I did used to own 88 Crown Victoria. When I was trying to park it, I was trying to do it this way, but instead to park the vehicle, you just got to press this button right here. All right, so now kind of look at the center console. What I really do appreciate is physical controls for your climate control. You have your on and off button, your auto button, AC button, and so forth. These are your piano keys. But you could also adjust it here too on the screen as you like. This is your different controls here, whatnot. You can keep it at auto, change your fan speed. You can change your fan speed here if you like. We're going to keep it at minimum and so forth. Now, the screen itself, I really, really like it. It's actually quite snappy. For example, we're going to press the home button, and then these are your menu items. Now, it's also worth noting that this operating software is actually Google's vehicle integrated software. So the only thing, though, that kills this for this software and even this vehicle overall, there is no Apple CarPlay. There is no Android Auto. I own an Android, and I have Android Auto in my Mustang Mach-E, and it's one of the greatest things ever. To not have this in 2025 and beyond is kind of a crime. However, there's some people who don't really need it, because you do have, your music selection. You do have your maps. You do have access to your phone and whatnot. If that is all you need, then you're totally fine. And what's really cool about this is that you can actually customize your menus. So, for example, if you want to do a shortcut for your drive modes, all you got to do is just click it here, drag it, bring it up to there. Boom, there is your shortcut right there. And I really like it. And again, once again, though, this is like really snappy. It doesn't lag at all. Very snappy. Here's your camera, 360 view. You can turn that off. It's just really, really snappy. I really, really like it. Now, aside from the materials you're using for your entertainment screens, these are your piano black. But the dash here is kind of not exactly hard plastic, but it's got a little bit of soft touch to it. Here you have your little bit of a gloss hard plastic. Same thing, you have your nice little white stitching here. And the Blazer EV is going to have a good amount of storage space. Like, for example, you have your glove compartment. You also have your little cubby here. Now, in the RS and the SS, what's strange is that they have like an enclosed door that you roll in and out just to protect your stuff. But in the LT, you just have this open compartment. But it does have two USB-C ports. These are actually data ports, so just keep that in mind. While it will charge your cell phone, it's mostly just to provide connect your vehicle data-wise. And then you also have your two cup holders, wireless charging pad, and good amount of space right here. Like, I have my GoPro camera here, and you also have another USB-C port and your 12-volt cigarette lighter. And just like any other General Motor vehicles, you're going to have your OnStar system, your SOS button, and this is where your hazard buttons are located. I had the toughest time trying to find it, but just so you guys know, your hazard buttons are actually up here. You have your reading lamps, 1, 2, and you're good to go. Now, in the LT version, as far as your rear view lamps, in the RS and the SS, it does come equipped optional for a rear view camera, but this doesn't have it. But it does have an auto dimmer, so if some person decided to have their high beams on in the middle of the city, this will dim it so that way you won't get blind. So now, what about charging? Like, when you're going on a road trip, or if you're in the middle of SoCal, Southern California, and you need a little bit of juice before you head back home. Well, there's different ways you can find a charger. There's apps, there's recognized locations, or you can also navigate on your screen here. So all you gotta do is just you're gonna hit there, which is like the lightning bolt there. Now, there's several ways you can try to find charging stations nearby, but what you want to do is, if you need a quick charge, you want to go to you want to go to filters, which is this button right here. And you want to click on charge type. There's level 1 and level 2. You want to probably unclick that and then just focus on fast charging. And then we're going to go to networks. Networks, there's many different networks you can look for. There's EVgo, ChargePoint, Electrify America, and the Chevrolet Blazer EV does have access to the Tesla superchargers with an NACS adapter. Now we're going to go back here and then click on nearby here. So we're going to be, so right now what it's doing is searching for the nearby charging stations. All right. So now there's several options. There's EVgo, Electrify America nearby, In Charge, Mosley, Nissan. I try to avoid dealership charging stations because they set the hours of operation. So if they are, if they are closed at 7 p.m., you cannot use their charging stations. So that's why, like during the night and evenings, I try to avoid them. But here you go. There's a Tesla supercharger near Vista, California. There's an EVgo, Electrify America. You click on either one of these. Like for example, we'll just click on Tesla supercharger, loading charging station details, and I don't know why this says 0 connections available. Maybe the data is not exactly fully available. But if you go to connectors, wait, is this it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that button that I just clicked there, that looks like a cone or like a triangle cone. This is where you'll be able to find. Oops. That's the thing with like Google Maps. Sometimes it just gets pretty wonky, but you can see the nearest charging stations. There's EV Passport, Electrify America, ChargePoint. Let's say for example, we'll just click here just for the sake of it. It will navigate you to that charging station. It'll be easy for you, and also it'll tell you what your percentage is of your battery upon arrival, which is really good. That's one of the good things about having the Google integrated into the Blazer EV, is that everything is well calculated based on the information that the vehicle is providing to the software, which is pretty cool. I personally use apps, but if you're not a person who uses apps, this will be really, really helpful. So having this, get used to where everything is at, then you're going to be good to go. But that being said, we are going to go to the Tesla supercharging station and show you how it performs charging from 10% to 80%. All right, so we've arrived to the Tesla supercharger. So I have an adapter here that connects my Chevrolet Blazer EV from the CCS onto the NACS. You can see it right there. Okay. Looks pretty good. So we're going to charge it up, and then basically where we're at right now is, let's see, kind of cycle here real quick. All right, so yeah, we are, oh wait, that doesn't show it. I knew I missed the spot here. Nope, that ain't it. Yeah, this is it. All right, so we're actually at 15% state of charge. You can kind of see it's right there. We are at 15% state of charge, and we're going to charge it up to 80% state of charge. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing from 15% to 80% state of charge is when you go to a DC fast charger, that's typically the charging range that you want to be charging your EV in general. And with the Blazer EV, we're going to see how long this will actually take, and then we'll get the final results. Now, I'm sure in the display here, we're going to see how fast the charging is, but on my app, on my Tesla Supercharger app, we're going to see how long it actually takes to charge from 15 to 80%, and then let you know how the overall performance is like. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. All right, sorry, so it's a little dark out here, and there's going to be some road noise. We're going to go ahead and open the charge port, take this cover off, take this cover off, right? Actually, can I do light? Yeah, here we go. All right, we got a little light here. So we're going to open this up, take this charge port up, and then here is the adapter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and then connect it into here. You'll see it, demonstrate it. All right, so the cord is going to be a little tight, but should have it connected. And then let's make sure that we are charging. Okay, I just heard the locking mechanism. I heard a beep. It sounds pretty good. So let's go inside the car. Okay, so looks like we are fully activated. We started at 15% state of charge. Looks like we're fast charging. So the vehicle is set to fast charge to 85% state of charge. You can actually set a charging limit right here. So if I click there, and then if I click on the battery right here, you can see, oh yeah, this is the stats right here. So basically 50 miles of current range plus 467 miles per hour for range increase rates. 50 minutes ready into the 85% state of charge. But I think if I click here, preconditioning temperature. Oh, you can do the preconditioning temperature, which is great. Home charging location, preferred charging times. That's all right. That is something. Yeah, okay, cool. So right here, you see this indicator. So if you click on your bolt icon here, and then you click here for your fast charging, you can actually set your charging limits. Right now, the charging limit is set to 85%. But if I do wanted to go to increase it to 90, I could actually do that if I wanted to. But we are going to set it back to 85% state of charge, because that's how the rental came in. It doesn't say or doesn't show anywhere here what is the charging speed as far as kilowatt is concerned. So that means if you're charging at a Tesla supercharger, you want to refer back to your app. But we're going to check back at 50% state of charge to see how long it's been, and then take it from there. Now, we're currently set at we're at 21% state of charge. I said it's going to be ready in 45 minutes to 85% state of charge. So let's make it this way. We are actually going to be charging from 15% to 85% state of charge, and it's going to take us about 45 minutes to get there. So we're going to check back at 50% state of charge and see how we're at. All right, so it's actually been 17 minutes since we first started at 15% state of charge. Sorry, I went a little above the 50% mark, but we are at 54% state of charge, as you can see on the both screens. Of course, we're targeting at 85% state of charge for 241 miles estimate, and we are currently at 155 miles. So now it says we're going to be ready in 25 minutes to reach to 85% state of charge. But I gotta admit though, plugging in your Blazer EV into a Tesla supercharger has been pretty efficient, because like the first 3 to 5 to 10 minutes, it's been consistent around the 150 kilowatt charging speed rate, and it's been slowly gradually going down from 155 to 135 and on to 125. It's too bad it doesn't display the stats on the screen, but trust me on this, when I'm seeing it on my app, then yeah, I think, like, you know, again, it's weird because like the way the charging architecture has been set up on the EV, the Blazer EV, is the voltage is so low that you're gonna want to plug it in to a station that is like 250 kilowatts and above. Like, for example, the Tesla supercharger, that it can do 250 kilowatts, or if you were to do it at a 350 kilowatt station, say like EA or EVgo, or even at any other third-party charging stations. So this is actually quite good for what it is right now. So again, we'll report back once we reach closer to 80% state of charge, and again, once more at 85%, and then we'll give you the final results. All right, so I just want to do another checkup at 72% state of charge. You know, the charging speed has definitely slowed down. It's down to like 70 kilowatts and whatnot. But timing wise, we're actually doing quite good. We're again, it says ready in 20 minutes to an 85% state of charge limit set on the Blazer EV. But I mean, has been a pretty standard charging session without any hiccups. The timing on this is actually okay, roughly around the same time as the Mustang Mach-E. But once we reach 85%, we will give you the final results. All right, so we have just reached the 85% state of charge. On the Blazer EV, after you're done charging, that doesn't exactly say like when is you know, when is it done and so forth. So I'm just gonna put this away. And all right, so I just finished unplugging the charger unit. Here is the NACS to CCS adapter. So I was actually surprised. So we took the Blazer EV from 15% to 85% state of charge, and that only took 40 minutes. 40 minutes. My total cost was actually only $22, I believe, for 31 cents per kilowatt hour. That's why I was charging at this late, because the charging cost was actually lower. But it took this from 15% to 85% state of charge. When you are pulling in your Blazer EV into a DC fast charging station, it's highly recommended you pull into a station that can accept more than 150 kilowatts. So in this case, the Tesla supercharger was actually 250 kilowatts. And so because the voltage on this thing is probably one of the lowest in the industry, if you go into one of those stations, you will get the maximum charging speed at 150 kilowatts that can be accepted onto the Blazer EV, and it will actually prolong it. See, the Mach-E can only do 150 in about a minute or two. This actually lasted for about between 5 to 10 minutes, and that's why we had the charging curve speed of 40 minutes from 15% to 85%. But there's nothing wrong with bringing your EV into a 150 kilowatt station or a 100 kilowatt station. Just know that it's going to charge just a little bit slower. But at the end of the day, the charging speed and the amount of time to charge your Blazer EV on a DC fast charger is right around standard. It could be improved a little bit, but at the end of the day, you have 30 minutes to kill, you have 40 minutes to kill, you have 50 minutes to kill. And then, yeah, I mean, overall, the overall experience really all depends on the charging station itself. That's why I always highly recommend a Tesla supercharger, because they are the most reliable DC fast chargers anywhere. And don't forget to get yourself one of these, because you would want to have one of these, the NACS to CCS adapter. All right, so now here is going to be the driving impressions with the Chevrolet Blazer EV. I've already taken some time. It's been a few days since I had the since I had the rental now. And you know, so far I've got a lot of inputs to talk about, which I'll probably end up revealing as we're going on with the video. But this is what you're going to be expecting when you first hop in as the driver for the Blazer EV. Now remember, this is the LT trim, which is pretty much like the base model. So in this year's model, you're not going to get the Super Cruise. The Super Cruise is not implemented onto this yet. I believe either the 26 model may actually start getting the Super Cruise. In my opinion, I think they should have just added in anyways, just to get it over with anyways. So that being said, this is the dash. This is your 17.7 inch screen, and then here's your vents. Some people don't like it. I personally love it just because it shoots out a lot of air. And then you can see in the 3 down here. But we're just going to be talking about how this thing drives and so forth. All right, so just quick disclaimer right now. I have 90 miles left in the battery range, which we're going to be doing a charging test maybe later tonight. I also have the one pedal drive active right here with a normal regen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the parking brake, and you can just press the button right here, and then we are going to shift reverse. Here's the one thing I do want to point out to you guys, and I think I should have gone backwards just to kind of demonstrate to you this. So the one thing I've noticed when you're driving with the steering wheel, the turning radius, the amount of times you have to turn the steering wheel is definitely more than the Mach-E. I find it just to be a bit annoying, because you're putting in a little too much energy just to turn the steering wheel, and then it's not turning as much. You'll notice it, like you may not see it in video, but once you hop on onto the Blazer EV, get yourself familiar with it, then you'll absolutely notice. Okay, so how does this handle? The handling on this is not bad. I probably give this like a 6 to 6.5 out of 10. Okay, the handling on this, it can be a little wide, it can be a bit unresponsive, it can be a bit jerky. That's just my opinion, but that's what I'm feeling with the handling. So like if I do that, and plus because the vehicle's kind of wide, so it kind of unbalances a little bit like so. All right, so we're actually coming up to a stop sign here, and I'm going to let go the accelerator pedal and it off now. Okay, so when I think about the one pedal drive on this, you know, it's got its good moments and it's got its bad moments. The good moments is that it does work and it works okay enough. There's bad moments where the sensitivity seems to be a bit off depending how fast you're going. The one thing I will say that I do like when using a one pedal drive is when you are letting go of the accelerator, the blending of the regen and the friction is actually quite good. It's actually much smoother than the Mustang Mach-E, because the Mustang Mach-E kind of goes like this one's a lot more smoother, which this is that's like one of the many things that I find this very, very nice. So talking about the ride quality, which you will be hearing later on the highway speeds, the ride noise is not bad. Again, a lot of the noise you're going to be hearing are coming from the tires themselves. If you were to get like a specific EV tires, that noise would be reduced by about 20 or 25%. But as far as like outside cabin noise, like for example, if a train's kind of going by, if a car's kind of going by, or a really annoying diesel sounding truck comes by, you're gonna hear it, but it's not that bad. It feels pretty standard. So I give that like a 7.3 out of 10, which is like a very standard score, which I could totally appreciate. So I'm actually letting go the accelerator really hard, and again, it's not bad. It just kind of feels a bit jerky motion, but it's nothing too daunting. But sometimes I do get a bit sick from it, as far as like motion sickness and whatnot. And again, as I'm driving here, it feels a bit wide, just to kind of say that. And it just kind of went over little bumps right there, you know, kind of like a little bit of potholes there, because I wanted to kind of tell you how comfortable that actually is, or comfortable enough that is. I give that a 7.3 out of 10. And I say that because in my 21 Mustang Mach-E, I'm going through so many potholes in Chicago. The suspensions are not really well tuned enough for it. But the suspensions on the Blazer EV is actually tuned pretty well, considering the amount of weight this carries because of the battery pack. All right, so you now join me in the highway or freeway driving experience. So, and we're not going to talk too much about it. I just want to give you guys like my personal perspective and how it feels to drive the Blazer EV in a highway setting. So we're actually descending from San Diego onto Orange County, and so I want you guys to hear the road noise real quick. So what do I think so far? I think this is not a bad car. I will say this though, handling this seems a bit wide. Doesn't seem to be that stable, especially in comparison to the Ford Mustang Mach-E. But the road noise is not bad. The cabin noise is not that loud. I would say it's a little louder than the Mustang Mach-E, but it's not bad. I think like overall, like the road noise, the cabin quality, it's just pretty much standard. I mean, it's better than the Toyota Camry or even like the Honda Civic. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I think overall it just feels good as far as like road and cabin noise. Now, as far as handling this, it's not bad. I would probably give it a 6 out of 10, because sometimes when you're turning in the steering wheel, it doesn't respond that well. But then when you do turn the steering wheel, it responds a little aggressively, so the handling is not the greatest. Not to mention how wide the Blazer EV is, and I think it could use a bit more wider tires in my opinion. But I mean, other than that, it's like, this is rock solid. It's funny though, because when you're driving this on the highway, knowing that the battery pack is sitting right underneath us, you're supposed to be feeling that the center low gravity weight. You kind of feel it, but you don't feel it as much. This does have great suspensions to make it feel like a normal petrol car. I do like that a lot. I do appreciate that a lot. Now, as far as the cruise control goes, because this model or this particular one doesn't have Super Cruise, I did test it on our way here to see how everything goes. So there is center lane function. Basically, it's just making sure you're not drifting off to the left or to the right when you're in the lane. Here's the thing. When you're putting on the adaptive cruise control, it does adapt to where how far in front of you the vehicle is to you as you're going at a particular set speed. It will slow down the vehicle for you. So when you're putting on adaptive cruise control, definitely have your hands on the steering wheel ready to just turn left and right, the steering wheel and everything and so forth. So there you have it, folks. That is the Chevrolet Blazer EV. What do I think of it? I think this is actually a great EV. It's well-rounded. It's nicely sized. It's pretty beefy. I love the way it drives. It's very smooth. But it's really just an Equinox in a much bigger form factor. If you do like the size, I would probably recommend the Blazer EV. Other than that, I mean, I like it. I just wish the pricing point would be a little lower. But there is definitely competitions. You have the Mustang Mach-E, you have the Hyundai Ioniq 5, you have the Kia EV6, and the Tesla Model Y. It just depends on your taste and what you're looking for. Again, this is not super fast, but it doesn't have to be super fast. But if you do like just a normal EV that drives normally, comfortably, and you don't mind not having the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto, then this is probably going to be for you. I give it a 7.3 out of 10. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more EV content. Till the next one, guys, have a good one. Stay smashing. It's about 25.5 cubic feet of space, which is big enough for 2 really large cases or 2 really big YouTubers.
I'm not that big.
Bye.